A lot of the time when we think about sort of growth generally, and we're obviously here to talk about these sort of demand gen tactics, we think about all these sort of stuff around strategies, tactics, playbooks, tools. The kind of list goes on really, but none of this would be possible without a great team in place. And as you touched on right at the start, the marketing team at GetAccept has exploded over the last few years. So this is the last tactic, I guess, is building a great marketing team. How do you go about sort of structuring your team there? How have you built the team to help GetAccept achieve its goals over the years then?
Yeah, I think GetAccept is an interesting journey. Of course, we are almost 30 people now, so we are a bunch of different sub-teams. I lead the demand team in Europe, where we're, obviously our OKRs, our KPIs are always to drive as much revenue and drive as much growth as possible. And in my team, we have people responsible for paid search, paid social, ABM, as I told you before, but also certain regional markets where we want to focus a bit extra. France, as an example, where we really feel like we want to grow as much as possible. That is one team. We have our own demand team in the US. We have divided them because there are very different markets in a way, and the US is also insanely competitive. So we have divided those in that way. We'll see if that keeps on forever, but right now that's how it is. And then in the grander marketing team, then we have what we call our brand and buzz team. It's more the team, it's the designers, it's the really that focuses on building the brand and helping out with all of it. So we work a lot. We work very closely with them, of course, with everything we do in trying to create our campaigns and so on. We have a content team, same there. We work extremely close, content, brand, and demand. It's one sort of clockwork really to create campaigns, obviously. We have a web team that handles everything surrounding the web, everything surrounding marketing ops, making sure that's all set. We also have, I would say that's the newest team that we have, is the product marketing team, which has grown a lot recently, which I think is super important, because that's really, making sure that we are aligned with where our product are going. So I think that's where we'll see the biggest development for us in the coming months or years. And then we also have a partner team, a partner marketing team, working with, because we integrate with all of the big CRMs, right? So our biggest partners are obviously like Salesforce and HubSpot and all of those, because that's where a lot of our customers come from. So it's super important for us to have good relationships with them, and so on.
Awesome. Yeah. And there are so many companies hiring product marketers at the moment. So
I think it's the
kind of the new sort of, not the new thing, but do you know what I mean? A lot of companies are starting to understand the value of product marketers. You touched on a little bit there. I mean, what sort of value are you seeing from sort of hiring them specifically? Because they get a lot more orientated on the sort of voice of the customer, don't they? So it's going to trickle through into the sort of impact of the stuff that you're perhaps creating.
Yeah, I think especially understanding the customer, but also understanding the product vision and where we're going, and kind of transcribing that into a messaging and a story that we can take from demand and then distribute as well as possible. I think that's so important. Also making sure that our story is consistent across channels, across where we're seen, because that's a super hard thing to do. And I think that's a really powerful thing with product marketing, if they can take that perspective.